I guess we just talked about this on the drive-thru. I know it was the drive-thru, it was just a few days ago. But now there's an update. Jeff Hardy has not been just sent home off the road from the WWE, but he's been released from the WWE. And God, that's just, it's unnecessary and it's needless and you hate to see it. And I hope that Jeff is okay. Of the two brothers, I'm least mad at him because the other one's over there doing the screwy stuff. But at the same time, I don't know how and why that it happens. Like, I know why that the company did it, but I'm just thinking, if the spotlight's on you, you've got the track record of doing this, and so they're going to be looking at you. How can you not just get back to the hotel first or whatever the case? I wish that we didn't have to even talk about this. But I think a lot of people were up in arms that they let him go after all he's done for the... Honestly, what else are they going to do? They had no choice. And it's not even the publicly traded line. Well, we're a publicly traded company. Even if they weren't, for his own good, you can't... If a guy is wrestling in a match without all of his faculties, and he's not only putting himself at risk, but he's putting his opponents at risk. And you might want to switch that priorities, put his opponents at risk and himself too. It's not his opponent's fault. Maybe they don't even know it. And I know, and this was true, somewhat of a rib. Tommy Rich, I think, used to have a better match at one point in the 90s when he was drunk than when he was sober. But he may have been an anomaly. But from a corporate and a company standpoint, it's not like this has been the first time or even how many strikes did he have in this company? Because there was the TNA issue and there's been a few others, but he was released in 2017 for his DUIs, was it not?
I don't remember. I think the first time was in 2003.
Well, I haven't even gone back that far yet. But the point is, they couldn't do anything else. From a liability standpoint, from a public relations standpoint, what would happen, even if he didn't do something in the ring, now that they're back on the road somewhat, he's in a hotel room somewhere. That doesn't end well. Front page news. In the ring, hurts himself. Somebody else gets hurt. Some incident happens. Well, the company would be liable because they knew that he had a history of doing these things, and this had just happened, and they were aware of it. They couldn't hide it. You've got to be able to trust guys when you put them out on the road. I know with the wrestling business and the stories that we've told that seems like craziness, but you have to have, and especially that company with that high profile of a, situation, you have to have some level of confidence in the guys you're putting on the road that they're not going to cause an issue that's going to come back on everybody. And especially when it's happened a number of times, they've gotten tighter and tighter with that. And so, and they, I guess, according to the story that's out there, they offered him rehab instead of being released. And he said no to the rehab, so they had to release him. I mean, that can either, was this, for whatever reason, an excusable anomaly in his life, that there's some innocent reason for this, and that's why he was indignant about it being asked to go to rehab? Or was that the reception or the response that everybody that's asked to go to rehab has when they're asked to go to rehab? I don't know. I've never been in a position. But, we mentioned that it looks like that the stuff that he does when he does it these days is busting him up. He does not look like a proud, healthy, energetic guy when he's working in the fucking ring anymore. So maybe it's best that he does at least go home and not take bumps, not be on the road, be around his family, not be either tempted to do things or just stove up and beat up and hurt to where he might feel like he has to do something. I don't know what else WWE could have done at this point, though. Do you?
No, and while I don't think rehab is always the answer for everybody, everyone kind of has to figure out their own way to get clean. And rehab is not the answer for everybody. For certain people, it's the right thing. But WWE, in the position they're in, have to say, you have to go to rehab. He just stormed off into the crowd of people, families, kids. Nothing happened. No one got hurt. But just think about what the liability is and what's going to happen next time. And what if he's found in a hotel room? I hate to look at it that way, but it's one thing after another. WWE, like any company, has to look after their guy, but also look after themselves as a company. That's probably why it was an offer of rehab, but more of an insistence of rehab. And we don't know what his reasoning is for not going, but I can understand why that would be a point for them where they had to release him based on everything else.